evening, folks, and welcome to another edition of Wrestling Global Plus. I'm your host, the Wizard of Wrestling himself, Thomas Archer III, and my co-host, unfortunately, the Deviant, Michael Cannella.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen?
I'm almost afraid to ask, Michael, what did you do this weekend? I'm
This
almost afraid to
weekend.
ask.
I went to the theaters. I saw this movie that came out at the time.
And what movie was that?
I believe it was
Did you go see that Police Academy movie?
I went to see that Police Academy. Yes. What a great movie. You want comedy, you want laughs, you want hijinks. It's got it all. You was
want guttural humor, and you want the lowest denominator. By all means, I'm sure, Michael. There's a reason they call you the Deviant, my friend.
Yeah, what did you go see?
Well, you know what? I actually had a very busy weekend, a non-wrestling weekend for a change. I actually went out, I saw a movie, and I went to a concert.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Right. I went to a movie. I saw a little bit more of a highbrow, although I'm going to have to say probably not the greatest movie I've seen. Bit of disappointing in a sequel. I saw Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Indiana who?
Do you remember Raiders of the Lost Ark, Numbskull? I'm sure if you think hard enough, you'll try and remember.
I'm afraid I don't. I was too busy waiting in anticipation of the release of Police Academy.
Folks,
but go ahead with this.
Please forgive my co-host at this moment. I'm sure there's very medical reasons and probably psychological reasons for his behavior. But moving forward, I did in fact see this movie, which was a sequel to Raiders of the Lost Ark. And I've got to tell you, while exciting, it wasn't the greatest movie I've ever seen. It certainly wasn't on the level of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Okay.
And, but you know what? If you want to get out and have some fun and a few thrills, definitely Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Now, most people may not believe this. I am a fan of rock music. And,
wow. I'm surprised.
Yeah, I'm sure you are. This weekend, I went out and seen probably one of my favorite bands of all time, Van Halen, was in town. Their 1984 tour in full group. And it was great. You know, you got to hear the song Jump. You've heard that song Jump everywhere going on. It's a bit of a departure from Van Halen. It's not all just rock and heavy guitar. Kind of an introduction of the synthesizer, which some rock purists may not cotton to very much, but you know what? It was an extremely great show, and David Lee Roth still carries that spirit of rock and roll in him. And you know what? He actually reminds me an awful lot of Michael Cannella here. His humor at sometimes could be a little bit to be desired on stage, but all in all, a fun show, and got me all set up for this week on Wrestling Plus here.
I have a question though.
Yes, go right ahead, Michael.
At the concert, did you jump along with the music?
And this is why I hate my co-host, Michael Cannella. Now, moving forward, let's get into this. Let's get a little more serious here. It's time to look across wrestling in the world today, professional wrestling, this great sport that you tuned in, fans, to hear all about. First of all, we're going to go over the news today before we go into our hot topic. And then after the hot topic, we're going to do a bit of a deep dive into the federations and the territories and see some of the going-ons going here. But let's first of all talk some of the news going on. First of all, I want to turn our attention to Texas area, to the world-class area. The world-class American heavyweight titleship changed this week as gorgeous Jimmy Garvin defeats the gentleman Chris Adams. The gentleman, what a bizarre name that guy is.
Yes, it's about time we finally have a real champion, a flamboyant champion.
No, wait a minute. Now, wait a minute.
What?
Gorgeous Jimmy Garvin cheated his way to win this
I didn't see that. My keeper must have cut out of that part.
His valet distracted the referee.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Garvin to spray something into Chris Adams' eyes and then win this prestigious title. I cannot believe you're going to back a deviant. Well, I guess you're a deviant yourself, but I can't believe that you'd still back somebody like gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. This even
it's good to have a flamboyant champion for a change.
Well, fans.
Okay, I didn't see any of that, so I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it seems everyone in the world besides the referee and Michael Cannella failed to notice the cheating of gorgeous Jimmy Garvin. Chris Adams losing his belt. You know what, Chris? Hopefully you'll get a reshot down the road and you'll show Jimmy Garvin that cheating doesn't get you anywhere.
No, it's okay. You've got my support, Jimmy.
Moving on to our next story. This involves in the Mid-South area where current Mid-South champion Magnum TA, who had just that violent breakup with, Mr. Wrestling 2, who had that violent breakup with Magnum TA. See, I've just got flustered here. I'm sorry. The Deviant always gets me rattled. But
oh, sure, that's right. It's all my fault, right?
Mr. Wrestling 2 and Magnum TA had quite the relationship going in. They were tag team champions, good friends. All of a sudden, it seems like Mr. Wrestling 2 starts to get jealous of his young protege, and leading to this violent breakup where Mr. Wrestling 2 turns on Magnum TA, tries to injure him. Now, the rumor out there is that Mr. Wrestling 2 is bringing somebody into the area, a new Mr. Wrestling, he's going to call him, with the specific goal of trying to destroy Magnum TA. Fans, I got to tell you, I am aghast and quite shocked at the behavior of Mr. Wrestling 2 right now. A man who was probably one of the most respected wrestlers in such a long time, throwing it all away. Now, I almost am afraid to ask, what do you think of this whole situation, Michael?
I didn't see what happened. I mean, Mr. Wrestling 2, why would he be jealous of Magnum TA? I think it's the other way around. I think Magnum TA was jealous of him.
Oh, Michael, I don't know where you're watching your television, but you're obviously missing a lot of things. Let's move on. You know what? I'm going to just say this. Magnum TA is the young, up-and-coming star of the future. Watch this guy, fans. I am pretty sure we are seeing the makings of someday a future NWA World Heavyweight Champion. And who knows, maybe down the road, maybe even a WWF World Heavyweight Champion. The man is quite incredible. Moving on next, we go to the Florida area where Billy Jack, the very popular Billy Jack, defeating Kendo Nagasaki for that belt using that great full Nelson of his. I mean, what a tremendous weapon. Congratulations to Billy Jack.
See, I don't like that. I think that move should be outlawed. That move needs to be banned.
The full Nelson is one of the basic moves in wrestling.
He caught him from behind. Nagasaki didn't see it coming.
Well, let me explain something, Michael. You have to stand behind somebody to put on a full Nelson. Yes. That is part of this sport. It is a legitimate wrestling move.
Okay.
And I'm extremely surprised that you would try and call for a ban on a legitimate wrestling move.
Well, I mean, okay, you know what? I want to see Billy Jack defeat Kendo Nagasaki without using that full Nelson.
Well, in fact, I don't know what to say.
I'm calling for a ban on that move in their rematch.
Well, fans, if for some reason you've missed your medication and you decide to join Michael Cannella in his ban the full Nelson move, feel free to write into Wrestling Plus, P.O. Box 667, Washington, New Jersey, T05775. Wow. I cannot imagine anyone is going to write in to support you, except perhaps gorgeous Jimmy Garvin after he hears this show. And maybe Kendo Nagasaki, I would guess, but wow. Okay. Moving on. I got to ask you then. You say you love the flamboyancy, you love Jimmy Garvin.
Yep.
How about the look of Norval Austin Stagger Lee? They've got all those things on. They call themselves the PYT Express, the pretty young things.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think of this? They're all
I've seen these guys with all their flash and flamboyancy. No, I don't like it. They look ridiculous. They look like a bunch of clowns out there.
Wait a second. You just said that gorgeous Jimmy Garvin, who dresses worse than these guys, is legit, but these guys are ridiculous?
He holds himself like a champion. That's why he won the belt.
The belt he cheated himself, too.
Again, I don't know what you're talking about. My cable cut out.
All right, moving on. We have a new AWA Junior Heavyweight Champion, Mr. Electricity Steve Regal, defeating Buck Rock and Roll Zumoff, the very popular Buck Rock and Roll Zumoff, dropping the belt to the very brash. And I'm going to say, here's a man who uses a lot of technical moves, including a full Nelson at times, Steve Regal. Are you against Steve Regal now?
Another great superstar, Mr. Electricity. using the power of the power of electricity to defeat his opponent.
Okay. Now, there's a situation right now in the Mid-South that's got a very interesting. Angelo Mosca was injured in his match against Ivan Koloff when the great Kabuki interfered and blew his green mist into his face, causing, doctors are saying, an 80% loss in eyesight in Angelo Mosca. This has been a blow to many fans. Angelo Mosca, one of the kind of flag bearers of this thing, fighting the dreaded Ivan Koloff. Where does this put Angelo Mosca? Can he come back from this? And what should be done about the great Kabuki and this eye mist thing? Kind of disgusting, don't you think, Michael?
He blew mist in Mosca's face.
Into Mosca's eyes and blinded him.
Again, my cable must cut out. I didn't see that. I mean, but if that happened, I don't see him coming back and because the moment he comes back, he's going to be out once again.
Wow, I know you've had a long-running hate for Angelo Mosca.
Oh, I do.
I'm not even sure why, folks. Who knows why? Let's move on. Here's something that's probably going to go like one of your favorite guys.
Oh, what's this?
Cowboy Bob Orton. The
ace, WWF. The cowboy.
Where do you see him going in the WWF?
Straight to the top.
Well, rumor has it that Roddy Piper might be interested in looking at him, which surprises me. Roddy Piper is usually the kind of guy who doesn't seem to be around many people shooting his mouth off. But there's a good fit, I guess, maybe. Cowboy Bob Orton and Roddy Piper.
Piper are my kind of guys.
Yes, unfortunately, fans, that tells you everything you need to know about the Deviant Michael Cannella. Moving on, Jimmy Golden wins the Southern Heavyweight Championship in an elimination tournament. The next night gets a title shot against NWA World Champion Ric Flair. He almost wins the belt. However, he puts Ric Flair into a sleeper, refuses to break the hold. The referee disqualifies him, which some people call controversy. Like, why didn't the referee just call out Flair and make a new champion out of Golden? I don't know. What do you think of this whole situation?
So let's see. Jimmy Golden gets disqualified for not releasing the sleeper hold. See, and people cheer for that. I don't understand.
But he had him in a legitimate.
The man clearly had him. Flair was out.
So then
why let it go?
Well, then why did why did they stop the belt that way? Why didn't they just award the belt to Jimmy Golden? That's right. You're dumbstruck here. You're not sure what to say.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, brother. Do you ever know what I'm talking about? All right. Moving on. Right now, I just want to throw out props to Andre the Giant. Andre may not be in any of the top 10s in any of the major federations right now, but he has won a whole lot of battle royals all across the areas of Pittsburgh, New Haven, Connecticut, Akron, Ohio, Springfield, Massachusetts. He's gone on a run of 5 straight battle royals in the last month. He is truly the king of battle royals. Andre, knocking them out. You got to be impressed with the Giant, my friend.
He's impressive, but I still know I can. One day, someone is going to eliminate him in one of these battle royals.
All right, moving on. Now, I'm not sure how you feel about this, but the former NWA World Heavyweight Champion and his brother, who was the Junior Heavyweight Champion, we're of course talking about Jack and Jerry Briscoe, are reforming as a team in the Carolina areas. They're looking to go after the NWA World Tag Team belts.
Those old guys, the geriatrics.
Whoa! The geriatrics. These are former world champions.
What?
They are former. Jack Briscoe.
I don't recall that.
Oh my goodness! Now you're being just ridiculous. Jack Briscoe is one of the most decorated NWA World Champ.
Will you be serious?
I am being serious.
They don't have a chance.
The geriatrics.
They don't have a chance of regaining the championships.
Well, turning towards people you probably like, your good friend and I'm pretty sure poker buddy, Precious Paul Ellering, has placed a bounty on the head of King Kong Bundy in the national area, the national Georgia area. He won't say how much it is, but it is a large bounty that he's placed on Bundy's head. Now,
I see a lot. I don't think so. I see a lot of people going after that.
Well, yes, that's exactly why it's appalling.
Bundy, no, I don't find it appalling. Bundy deserves it.
You don't find it appalling that a man put money on that, has offered money to anyone who eliminates somebody. You don't find that appalling at all?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Fans, please excuse my erstwhile friend. The last bit of news I'm going to touch on here is a very interesting one, and it actually is going to lead into our hot topic this week. It involves the women's wrestling title, and it involves Wendy Richter has become the new WWF Women's Heavyweight Champion, defeating defeating the Fabulous Moolah in what has got to been called one of the most interesting battles in a long time, covered by MTV. Cyndi Lauper's there, rock and roll stars aplenty. Wendy Richter defeats the Fabulous Moolah. Moolah has been champion for, like, I would guess almost 175 years if I looked at it that way. Wendy Richter, the new champion. What do you think of that? That's some real groundbreaking news there.
If anything is appalling, that's appalling, because Fabulous Moolah should still be champion. Cyndi Lauper and David Wolf distracted her.
Well, I think that is your opinion. I don't think it's a very good opinion. But okay. I'm not sure what to say right now, fans. I am sitting here kind of surprised at all these things that I'm hearing from my friend here. Mike, Fabulous Moolah has been quite on a roll of cheating lately. This has brought a whole new, you know what? Let's just segue right now into our hot topic of the month. And our hot topic this month involves women's wrestling. With Wendy Richter becoming the new champion, with MTV covering this, a whole bunch of people who've never seen wrestling before have been exposed to it. Also to women's wrestling. Now, women's wrestling over the last couple of years, we're going to have to say, has not had anywhere the prominence and importance of men's wrestling. There have been periods of time where women wrestlers over the past years have made national headlines, but not to a very big extent. Today, we have Wendy Richter, whose name and face is plastered across MTV. All the young kids and everyone who's discovering the joy of wrestling right now. Does this mean we are in for a women's revolution? Is it time? Is it time, Michael Cannella, that women's wrestling becomes to the forefront? Is the 1980s the gateway for women's wrestling to become important? Go.
Well, you know what? I don't know. I don't see anyone else ever being the champion that Fabulous Moolah was. She was the ultimate champion. I mean, from the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, okay? How can you have a new champion in the 80s?
But does that
and then beyond? I don't think it will, I don't think there can be any kind of revolution. I don't think it'll happen.
You don't think that the world is ready for women's wrestling to be on the importance?
They're not ready.
Wow. I'm going to have to disagree with you. I think that this decade, I think Wendy Richter is going to take that belt and keep it for a very long time. I think she's going to defend it across the world and bring a new look and prominence to what women's wrestling is. Women's wrestling has kind of been this sort of ugly stepchild of the wrestling world. It's been there. Nobody wants to look at it a lot unless something interesting happens and then they forget about it.
Unless on their screen.
Okay, I'll give you that. All your lustful feelings aside for the Fabulous Moolah, Michael Cannella, I think it's time for a new kind of women's wrestler. I think Wendy Richter, she looks nothing like the women wrestlers of before. She looks like the everyday girl who could rise up, hit the gym, learn some wrestling.
She looks like she could be in part of a rodeo.
Now, Michael, that is too far. That is too far. You know what? It is time for a new breed of women athlete, and I think that Wendy Richter has opened the doors for this.
What? That's all. She was a cowboy hat to the ring. Cowgirl hat.
Okay, then what is wrong with looking like she's from a rodeo? Because you said it in very disparaging ways. Explain yourself, Michael.
How can we have a cowgirl as a champion?
How can we not? We have cowboys who are continually world heavyweight champions. The Funks, the Briscoes. We've had firemen. We've had barbers and tax accountants. Why can we not have a woman who's a cowboy?
It's impossible. And Cowboy Bob Orton is the exception because he only pretends to be a cowboy. He isn't really a cowboy.
Wow, I think you've insulted Cowboy Bob Orton more than anything else in this whole segue. Folks, I'm going to have to say I disagree with our friend, and I say that word loosely, friend.
I didn't insult you, Bob.
He will, and if anything, I hope Bob Orton breaks his wrist over your head, hitting you and teaching you a lesson, even if it has to cost him wearing a cast. My goodness. Anyhow, looking at this, it's time for the women's revolution to start. The 1980s is the decade. Go, women, go. Folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we're going to go across the world of wrestling right now and take a look at what some of the champions are doing right now and who we think are their up-and-coming challengers. So you know what? Sit back, go to the fridge, grab yourself a beverage, and sit back and listen to the rest of this show. Today, we are brought to you by the show Miami Vice. It's a new show coming out I believe this fall on the NBC network. They have purchased time on this for us to talk to about it. It is a exciting new MTV styled police show. I'm not sure exactly what that means, but it involves apparently lots of trendy things and music. So I guess we'll be looking forward to Miami Vice. Check it out on NBC. We'll see you kids back in a few minutes. Hey fans, welcome back to Wrestling Global Plus. Let's take a look now across the federations and across some of the big territories to see the things going on. We're going to talk a little bit about the champions that are going on, some of the feuds that they're embroiled with, and we're going to get a kind of a look at where we see things going. Let's start off, of course, with the NWA, the National Wrestling Alliance, the current champion, the nature boy himself, Ric Flair. Once he is now in his second title reign, let's talk a bit about the NWA World Champion, okay? We talked earlier about him having this interesting match against Jimmy Golden. However, let's take a look at some of the guys that are really dogging him right now. I mean, he has Brad Armstrong, up-and-comer, on his heels right now, one of the good young up-and-comers. We have Harley Race, the former champion, who, of course, is always in the background. Florida mainstay Cowboy Ron Bass. Cowboy Ron Bass has been sniffing around there. And, of course, we got to go look at guys like Stan Hansen, Kerry Von Erich, and Chris Adams. A whole wealth of guys chasing after him right now. Who do you think is going to be the most dangerous one here, Michael? Who has a legitimate chance of going after Ric Flair? Or is Ric Flair untouchable?
Oh, he's a nature boy. You can't touch the nature boy. I see him going a long ways. No one can touch Nature Boy.
Well, I kind of wonder about Brad Armstrong. Brad Armstrong really has made some great strides over the last while, but you can't discount Harley Race. I mean, the former champion wants revenge. He has some upcoming, of course, probably rematches. I would think that he would be someone to keep an eye on.
Okay, you know what? Maybe Harley Race, but I still see Ric Flair winning that match.
Retaining his belt?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough. Moving over to the AWA. The AWA right now is a bit of a hard one to guess and speculate on. First of all, the AWA World Champion. Here's a guy who, for most North American wrestling fans, came out of nowhere to defeat Nick Bockwinkel, and that is Jumbo Tsuruta. Jumbo Tsuruta, the current champion, is a Japanese wrestler who spent almost all of his career in Japan. Nick Bockwinkel goes on a tour. While Nick's over there, defends his title and loses the belt. He subsequently has had a rematch, which he did not win. Most fans, especially AWA fans, are in a little bit of disarray here, wondering who's going to be the guy to go after Tsuruta, and will Tsuruta be coming over full-time to defend the title in the U.S.? And if he doesn't, does that mean the AWA has to mostly come out of Japan? There's some very confusing things going on there. The people to look at, some of the big contenders going after Jumbo Tsuruta: Blackjack Mulligan, Blackjack Lanza, Jerry Lawler, Larry Zbyszko, Mad Dog Vachon, and one that I'm keeping a particular interest and an eye on, recently signed the last couple of months to the AWA, Rick Martel. Rick Martel has already put in his intentions. If anyone is a danger to Saruta, right now I'm going to say it's Rick Martel. The officials say he's going to have to get some more wins under his belt against some big guys to get a title shot. But I think Rick most definitely is the guy who has what it takes to take Jumbo Saruta. Do you agree or disagree, Michael? And if not Martel, do you see someone else on this list who you think, and let's not forget, there's also Nick Bockwinkel floating around there. I should have said that too. Former multi-time AWA
No, I said
world
that.
champion.
Go with Nick Bockwinkel to take it back.
Going with Nick Bockwinkel to take it back. What do you think of this Rick Martel kid? Do you think he has much of a chance? I mean, he's an up-and-coming. He looks great out there. The fans love him.
I know. He's too flashy for me.
Now, hold on a second. Did you just say he's too flashy for you?
With all, I don't know. I don't see it.
Wow.
Maybe all the women out there are gonna fawn over him, but he doesn't really do anything for me.
Wow. After all the things you said about gorgeous Jimmy Garvin and Ric Flair.
No, hey, those two are my friends. They're my close personal friends of mine.
Now. Michael, you know, as a professional journalist, you should not be voting for your friends in these things. We've talked about this. You're hired on this show to be professional and to look at people in a professional manner. I'm rather shocked you would say
I'm always professional.
Well, it's not very professional to say you pick your friends over someone else.
I didn't pick my friends. I said they are close personal associates of mine.
No. I'm sure if the fans were to rewind this, the word friends came out of your mouth, not associates.
Close personal friends. Friends, close personal associates.
Very unprofessional, Michael. I'm afraid we're going to have a talk afterwards about this sort of thing. Let's move on now to the WWF. Current champion, the super mega popular Hulk Hogan. Man, this guy has been bringing in fans from across the world. What an incredible wrestler. What do you think of Hulk Hogan, Michael?
Oh, please, Hulk Hogan. Where do I begin?
About how much of a great champion he is? How he's revolutionized the sport?
Huh. That right there, that was funny. That was actually made me laugh.
Okay, explain yourself, Michael.
How? He is this good guy, or supposed good guy, yet he seems to do all these heelish tactics in his matches. I don't understand.
Explain. What do you mean by heelish tactics?
Wait, he breaks the guy's back. He pokes his opponents in the eyes. Roddy
he's
Piper.
Not doing anything that his opponents haven't been doing to him in matches.
Well, Steve, so if his opponents jump off the bridge, should he jump off as well?
Wow, I can't believe I'm having this argument with the immediate Michael Cannella. Okay, so you don't like Hulk Hogan. I'm getting that.
No.
Let's take a look at some of the contenders for his belt at the moment. We have, of course, the Intercontinental Champion, Greg the Hammer Valentine. We have Tito Santana, Bob Backlund, Sergeant Slaughter, Paul Mr. Wonderful Orndorff, who he seems like he's getting into quite a bit of a friction with lately. Jimmy Snuka, who has been
I wonder why. I mean, come on, everyone that Hogan teams up with, he always seems to use them and hold them back. No wonder they break away from him.
Now, one guy I have noticed who has had the last month or two has had quite a few shots, has come very close and not beat him, is a guy who I thought is very dangerous, Dr. D. David Schultz, has not. And, of course, at number 9, this is a very interesting feud, something brewing here. Roddy Piper. Roddy Piper is definitely one of the guys gunning for Hulk Hogan. Does Roddy Piper have what it takes to be the next WWF?
Yes, he does, because he does things his way. He doesn't follow any rules. He's like me. This is why we get along so well.
Okay, fair enough. So you think Roddy Piper is the one to unseat Hulk Hogan?
Yes, I do.
Excellent. Well, you know what? Let's look at the tag team divisions right now and just talk about some of the tag team champions that are out there. The number 1 rated tag team this week, or this month actually, the NWA World Tag Team Champions, the popular team of Wahoo McDaniel and Mark Youngblood. What do you think about these two Native American athletes?
Yeah, I don't see much from them. Wahoo McDaniel, Mark Youngblood. You know what? I thought he was teaming up with his brother Jay. What's going on?
He was at one time, but it's kind of a mentor kind of relationship here. The very vastly experienced Wahoo McDaniel taking the Mark Youngblood under his wing and teaching him a lot of stuff. I see this as a very dynamic tag team. We've rated them number one because they've had a very impressive string of victories over the last couple of months. I think they're a tag team that really keep an eye on.
All right. Well, I don't know. I'm not seeing it. Maybe there's something there that I'm not seeing. So.
All right. The number two tag team, and I'm sure you're going to love these guys. The Heenan families, Ken Patera and Crusher Blackwell.
Ken Patera, Crusher Black. See, again, another one of my close associates, Bobby the Brain Heenan. Mm-hmm. I see a lot of potential here. Ken Patera, strong Olympic strongman. Crusher Blackwell. All right, Crusher Blackwell, okay, but more Ken Patera, and yeah, the Heenan family for sure. I can see it.
Well, no, we want to point out, fans, that while Ken Patera and Crusher Blackwell were in the Heenan family, now that Heenan has moved over to the WWF, they are still associated with him as friends. However,
sure they are. Once you're associates of myself and Bobby Heenan, you're always a part of the family.
Okay. Moving on next to our number three tag teams. This, to me, is an exciting, hot new tag team that is nothing like we've ever seen before. These guys, we're talking about the Road Warriors, the current Georgia National Tag Team Champions. They may be nasty, mean, and not the nicest guys to talk to, but they are something in the ring. They have been tearing through opponents in less time than it takes me to introduce them. The Road Warriors.
I was hanging out with them last month.
I cannot believe that.
They are a couple of fun guys.
Fun guys. And what exactly were you guys doing that was so fun in a biker bar?
We were riding our bikes.
You have a bike?
I jumped on my Harley. The three of us rode along the highway. Oh yeah, we threw back a couple of beers. It was fun.
Well, folks, we're going to move on to the next tag team while Michael takes his medication and hopefully comes back to reality. The number four tag team, the Midnight Express, the current Mid-South Tag Team Champions. Jim Cornette's super team. These guys are a nasty bit of work. I know you probably like them very much too, Michael Cannella.
Absolutely. From the individuals that make up the team to their entrance music, everything about them is just great.
Well, they're definitely a team that's been very hard pressed to beat.
And if anyone accuses Jim Cornette of cheating with the use of his tennis racket, I didn't see it. My screen blacked out at that time.
Oh Jesus! Alrighty, the WWF Tag Team Champions, Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas. Boy, here's some big impressive men.
Oh, come on. Rocky Johnson and Tony Atlas.
Yes.
Seriously?
Yes.
No, no.
They're even bigger than the Road Warriors, these two.
Oh, please. The Road Warriors, Road Warriors will ride circles around them.
Okay. Next, we have the World Class America's Tag Team Champions, the Masked Men of Mayhem, the Super Destroyers 1 and 2. Now, here's a Deviant team. That's right up your alley. What do you think of the Super Destroyers?
Absolutely. Complete 100% destruction.
Alrighty. The number 7 tag team, the popular U.S. Tag Team Champions, Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda. And you know what? Barry Windham, I got to say for wrestling fans, I see him someday being even better than most.
Oh, will you be serious? Will you be serious?
Barry Windham has something in him that I think he's going to be one of the all-time greats in wrestling. And I think if he ever even joined some group, he'd be recognized as probably one of the best of that group.
I disagree with that. I don't think it'll happen.
Well, I was talking to a friend of mine, and a good friend of mine named Rick Serrano II, who he's a very good, knowledgeable wrestling fan, and he told me that he saw Barry Windham as probably being one of the all-time greats himself.
Well, I'm sure he's mistaken about that. I'm sure you're both mistaken about that.
All right. Moving on to the number 8 tag team, another fancy tag team I hope you would learn to like. The Mid-South Tag Team Champions, Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert. They're calling themselves Fargo's Fabulous Ones. Not to be confused with the Fabulous Ones who are now entering the AWA.
Oh, and I'm sure you're a fan of those guys, right?
Yeah, they're very good. Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert. Or are you talking about Steve Kerr?
I'm talking about the fabulous one, Steve and Colonel Stanley.
They're a great tag team.
They're not better than these guys. Jackie Fargo, come on.
Well, you know what?
These guys are a great team. They are fabulous.
Well, you know, Tommy Rich and Eddie Gilbert are two young, great wrestlers with a lot of potential behind them. Tommy Rich, one of the most extremely popular wrestlers ever to come out of the Memphis area. Eddie Gilbert, well, he's had his up and downs. He's part of the very infamous Gilbert family. But together, I think they're going to be very interesting. I think, you know, Jackie Fargo has turned his life around. He's become quite the fan favorite. And this team is carrying his name in honor. And I think they're a team to watch for. Moving on next, we head off to the World Wrestling Council in Puerto Rico, where we look at King Tonga and El Gran Apollo. Now, I know a lot of you fans might not know a lot about the World CCW champions out there. I got to tell you, the Puerto Rico area has got some great wrestlers in there. El Gran Apollo, big man. Same as King Tonga, who he's one of the Samoan guys who have been, well, I guess he's a Tongan guy, but he hangs out with the Samoans quite a bit. These are two really rough and tough guys making a very scary tag team. They're almost kind of they're hard to explain because they're not exactly bad guys and they're not exactly good guys. They're just tough guys, sort of like the Road Warriors who go out and beat people up. Keep an eye on them. And the number 10 tag team, Canadian tag team, which heartens me to hear, Pierre Lefebvre and Frenchie Martin. We're talking about the Canadian International Tag Team Champions. This is the first time the Canadian National Tag Team Championship has made it into the top 10 in a while, but they've been on a string of victories all across Montreal and Ontario, Quebec and Ontario. They're an interesting team that maybe has a chance. Do you think this Canadian team has a chance of breaking out and making their names big amongst the other top 10 tag teams out there?
It's hard to say. I can't really say much about this team at the moment. I'm going to have to see more from them.
You didn't see enough cheating out of them. Got it. All right, that's what he's saying, fans. Now,
my screen cut out.
I really think that you have to buy yourself a better television set. And it seems that the one you have right now.
Hey, my cable company is fantastic. I don't know what's going on.
Well, you know what?
My television is fantastic. I don't know. It's a cable company. I don't know what they're doing.
Let's go over now the most popular and most hated wrestlers of the month from last month. At number 10, in the most popular category. Now let's go. You want to go hated or popular first? I'll let you choose.
I'm good either way.
All right, let's go most popular. The most popular, number 10, Black Jack Mulligan. Boy, this veteran has been really tearing up the AWA right now. He is really on a roll. His partner, Black Jack Lanza, not so much liked, as well as former partner. But Mulligan, looking really good out there.
I don't know. I like Black Jack Lanza a lot better than Mulligan.
Of course you would. Of course you would. All right, number 9, coming out of the Memphis area, Austin Idol, the strong man, the muscle man. He has been really tearing up that area right now. Friends with Jerry the King Lawler. That hasn't always been the case, but this month he is very popular down there. Number 8, the popular Sergeant Slaughter. Boy, he's been doing good coming out of basic training to teach people a lesson. Number 7, Jerry the King Lawler, always a favorite of our show. Number 6, and now you said cowboys who aren't fake. Here's a real cowboy, Kerry Von Erich, of the famous Von Erich family.
Hold on, how is he a real cowboy?
Well, first of all, he's from Texas and owns a ranch. I think that does qualify you as a cowboy, Michael.
But he doesn't call himself Cowboy Kerry Von Erich.
He either does Wendy Richter call herself Cowgirl Wendy Richter, but you've just anyhow. Number 5, the ever popular Junkyard Dog. Number 4, Michael Cannella's favorite wrestler, Hulk Hogan.
I'm sure you were thinking about that, Hulk Hogan. Well, I can't wait for someone to take that title off him.
Number 3, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes. Number 2, the undisputed king of the battle royals, Andre the Giant.
One day it'll happen.
And number 1, Michael Cannella's favorite hangout person ever, the Boogie Woogie Man, Jimmy Valiant.
I do more boogie woogie than he does.
Oh, brother. Oh, brother. Are you
Every Sunday night,
Michael?
it's a party at my house.
Now, probably the category that I think Michael will be most excited about, the number 10 most hated wrestlers in all of wrestling today. Number 10, and how appropriate, gorgeous Jimmy Garvin.
My man.
Number
Jimmy
9.
Garvin, world champion.
Number 9. Oh, jeez. Olympic strongman Ken Patera.
Okay.
Number 8, Canadian standout Jos LeDuc. Number 7, the Iron Sheik. Number 6, Crusher Khrushchev. Number 5, Hacksaw Butch Reed.
All right.
Number 4, U.S. champion Dick Slater. Number 3, former Florida champion Kendo Nagasaki. Number 2, Georgia wrestling standout Jake the Snake Roberts. And at number 1, the most hated wrestler this month, Mr. Wrestling 2. What do you got to say about that?
Well, I see the right man is listed at number 1 because everyone is jealous of Mr. Wrestling 2. They all wish they were Mr. Wrestling 2 and beyond.
Well, if you threw a mask on, anyone could be Mr. Wrestling 2, I'd almost say.
Not if he's the original. No one can be he is the original Mr. Wrestling 2. Well, everyone else is a carbon copy.
Fans, before we let you go, the last thing we're going to talk about is the top 5 current ranked wrestlers. And we're talking about wrestlers with victories, skills, whatever, who are considered the top 5 best wrestlers in the world today. Number 5, former NWA heavyweight champion Harley Race. Harley Race still up there, still chasing Ric Flair. Obviously, a great boon on him to be listed number 5. What do you think of that, Michael Cannella?
Yeah, he can continue chasing Flair all he wants. Doesn't mean that he's going to win.
Okay, number 4, your best friend, Hulk Hogan, WWF World Champion, recognized as the number 4 wrestler in the world today.
You know what? I really just wipe that smirk off his face.
All right. Number 3, a wrestler who, he's earned his way in here by his victories. He's certainly come out of nowhere. This is his first time within our top 10 even. Coming in at number 3, current AWA World Heavyweight Champion Jumbo Tsuruta. Interesting. I know I don't have a lot to say about Jumbo Tsuruta because he literally came out of nowhere to capture the AWA title. I'm going to be watching him going forward, but I didn't really watch him up till this. Any comments, Michael?
No, I don't really have anything on Jumbo Tsuruta.
I don't think anyone really does. Number 2, the undisputed king of battle royals, Andre the Giant, ranked number 2. You know what? This was a very interesting pick for us here at Global Plus. As you know, Andre is listed here as our number 2 wrestler, yet he does not appear in any of the top 10 lists of WWF, NWA, or AWA. He is not in contention for any of the world titles at the moment, but based slowly on the last 2 months of the incredible amount of battle royals that he has won, he comes in at number 2. What do you think of that surprise kind of ranking?
Yeah, I mean, I could see him going for championships, but I don't think he really wants to be champion. Otherwise, he would. I'd see him ranked in more of these lists.
I'm going to have to agree. It does not seem he has taken a run at any championship belt at this moment. He seems content.
Hey, what about that? The first time we've agreed on this show today.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. You know what? Andre, let's face it, world champions make a good amount of money, but Andre the Giant has been making money hand over fist with every one of these battle royals. I mean, the minimum that he wins in a battle royal is $10,000, and he has been winning a chock full of them. He's probably made more than most of these champions have last month, so I could see why he wouldn't. And of course, our number 1 ranked wrestler this month, the current NWA World Heavyweight Champion, as people say he's probably one of the best wrestlers to ever appear. We're talking about the nature boy himself, Ric Flair. As much as he can get himself into some devious quarters, him and his infamous 4 horsemen, I'm going to have to say that Ric Flair is probably one of the best wrestlers I've ever seen. So, folks, we want to thank you for tuning in to This Week for Global Plus. We had a great time. I got to tell you, go out and buy some music. Van Halen, tearing up the charts. You want to see a movie? You want to see something that'll make you feel excited?
Watch Police Academy.
I was going to say, if you want to lose brain cells, go hang out with Michael Cannella and what is it you kids do, sniff rags or something like that? I'm not sure. Watch Police Academy. If you want a little bit more of a highbrow thing, look at Indiana Jones and the Temple.
Highbrow? What's highbrow? I've never heard of that term.
Anyways, folks, we want to thank you for tuning in this week, and we look forward to you next month where we'll have another edition of Global Plus. All I can say is, Michael,
Yes,
say goodnight.
sir.
Say goodnight to the good people.
All right, fans, we will talk to y'all next month. The pleasure was all yours.